Welcome to Alligator Alcatraz. The entrance here is a 30-foot tall wall. None of this was here 5 days ago. It's got razor wire on the top, just unbelievably impressive what the state of Florida has done here. Over my shoulder is the actual facility. As you can see, we'll be entering soon. This is the entry gate for Alligator Alcatraz. Whew, got mosquitoes everywhere. They're like playing, there you go, look at that. Not a fun place to be put in prison. You do not want to go here. 30-foot.
My question is, why the hell do you look so damn happy about it? Alligator Alcatraz. What do you think is going to happen in there to black and brown people, to Asian people? What do you think is going to happen to them? Huh? You're not going to see no white Europeans in there. I'll tell you that. You're not going to see a white Russian, a white Australian, a white UK dude. You're not going to see him in there. It's going to be nothing but black Caribbean folk, black African folk, you know what I'm saying, Mexicans, Cubans. It's going to be a whole bunch of them in there going through the worst things humanly possible. And you smiling and laughing, bro. There's nothing to smile about. Like, this is weird. This is weird. This is racism, bro. Like, you remind me of a blue-eyed, blonde-haired German from the 1930s. They looked pretty damn excited before those gas chambers was built to exterminate Jewish people. It's given that.
Our government built Alligator Alcatraz in 8 days. And Alligator Alcatraz is basically a prison or a concentration camp that is fully surrounded by waters infested with alligators. Like, first of all, whose money was even used to do that? 1 + 1, it always is some tax-paying dollar bullshit. But also at the same time, this is the same country that can't house the homeless. Just can't do that. Can't feed the starving. You can't do that. Honestly, people get, citations and tickets for feeding the starving people, for feeding the homeless people. They can't, give medical care to the poor. This is the same country that, is doing all of those things, but then builds Alligator Alcatraz in 8 days. It's almost as if they just don't want to actually help any of the actual issues, but they could if they wanted to. Clearly, because they can build Alligator Alcatraz in 8 days. So they just don't want to help. And then it's crazy because the trauma of being rounded up by ICE already for the immigrants is crazy. And then now you want to send the immigrants to Alligator Alcatraz, a prison or a concentration camp that is fully surrounded by waters infested with alligators. It sounds like the plot to a movie where there is an evil villain that does some diabolical shit where you can't even comprehend, but this is literally what is going on. Like, what?
Hi guys, welcome to yet another video. It's Ndagire here. Thanks for clicking on this video, guys. It's getting scary and scarier every single day. I've been seeing a lot of videos where people are talking about how the US is like, taking immigrants or like literally deporting people and throwing them allegedly in like, the season oceans, like, planes just go and drop people up and they are, showing up ashore. But I'm not really sure about that, so I don't want to share that. But this is sad, okay? Considering like, especially when it comes to Black history, where African ancestors, Black people, their children, like they were, fed to alligators literally in history by palmed people. Like they would take kids from Black people and feed them to alligators. And we are in 2025 today. They are bringing a trigger back to, people building facilities to kind of replicate that same thing and calling it Alligator Alcatraz, like trying to like twist it like it's not that horrible, it's not that bad, but you've made a prison, like you've literally built a facility to arrest people, which by the way are detained illegally, because even if you have your ID with you, they can still be like, no, you're not a citizen, and they still detain you. And them doing the same thing that they used to do in history to African people, and that same space they are putting right now is still going to be a place for them to put like minority groups of people, Black people, people of color, like they are bringing back the pain and the trauma that was, you know, on our ancestors back to people today in 2025, and they see it as normal. And seeing this man really be happy about documenting this whole situation, this facility, is why like these people really lack humanity. And it's just wild to see. It's really wild to see. But yeah, guys, listen to what people are saying about this whole thing. Come back and let me know your thoughts on it.
They used to feed black babies to alligators. It's not a figure of speech. It's not hyperbole. It's not a metaphor. None of that. They used to feed black babies to alligators. And now there's a new facility being built in the Everglades of Florida. They're calling it Alligator Alcatraz. Newspapers like the Oakland Tribune in 1923 and the Washington Times in 1908 reported that black children were used as bait for alligator hunting. One account described hunters paying a black mother $2 to use their child for this very purpose. Another report from 1908 described how zookeepers from New York Zoological Gardens used black babies to lure out alligators from their pits. By the early 1900s, the use of this trope was widespread. It was just a part of popular culture. Postcards, figurines, cartoons, they all commonly depicted black children as being threatened by alligators, being completely aloof, often using the exaggerated racial features that we see expressed in the pickaninny stereotype. And this was the kind of content that white people consumed for entertainment. This was like a novelty, humorous to them. This wasn't limited to just trinkets and small items. This was used also as a racial slur. Bob Gibson, a Hall of Fame pitcher, recalls this phrase being shouted at him during games in the Jim Crow South. Even the University of Florida used to chant, "You ain't a gator, you gator bait." This is how harmful phrases with racist origins get repurposed for general use. Now today in the Florida Everglades, they're building a detention center and they're calling it Alligator Alcatraz. This is an ICE detention center, basically a concentration camp that is surrounded by alligators. And black immigrants are being deported. And I'm sure amongst those are people who are not here illegally. And for those black people who have somehow along the way lost compassion for others, just realize you are on the road to being just like your oppressors. There were people online talking about black people can't be deported. There's been historical events in the past where they've proposed ideas to move black people out of America. And there's been talks about not just deporting citizens, deporting detractors. I mean, this is in line with what we spoke about with just general dictatorship. Ultimately, we have to understand our history, man. We have to. In 8 days, they built a facility with 5,000 plus beds surrounded by a moat filled with alligators and snakes. This is some villain shit. And you got this crazy lady here who looks like Jigsaw from the Saw series talking about there's 65 million meals if we get started today. There's currently 65 million Latinos in the United States. This is just how deranged these people are. You got a literal concentration camp that you guys flew down for the grand opening of. Is that not insane to y'all? All right. The other thing is that they're selling merch. They're selling merch.
This is where the Trump admin plans to imprison human beings looking for a better life. They're calling it Alligator Alcatraz because it's surrounded by swamps filled with alligators, crocodiles, and pythons specifically chosen for security.
We're going to teach them how to run away from an alligator, okay?
This isn't a facility just for criminals. It's where they plan to hold any undocumented immigrants. And just look at Trump's smile as he tours the detention center. These people are evil. They even have merch to celebrate their inhumanity as if they're souvenirs from a theme park.
Incredible. Would you rock this drip? Look at that.
This isn't normal. Not to mention the facility was built in 8 days within a crucial nature reserve, encroaching not only on a vital ecological area, but also on 15 Native American tribal villages that live there. It's set to hold thousands of migrants beginning in July. This is what 450 million of our tax dollars are funding through federal emergency programs. How could Americans support treating human beings as objects, disposable, and worthless? It's partly the result of years of dehumanization campaigns against undocumented immigrants. Trump has said they poison the blood of America, claiming they have bad genes. He's called them animals. He's labeled them as snakes, illegal monsters, and gang members. He's called them invaders destroying our country, and way too many bought it, despite none of it being true. Undocumented immigrants even commit less crimes than US citizens. It's just white supremacy and authoritarianism. We have to do better.
Y'all are okay with this? Y'all are okay with this? This is gonna make America great again? A concentration camp? Y'all realize that this looks just like this. This is Auschwitz. Yeah. That's what you're rooting for right now. This is what you mean by make America great again. Do y'all know that they built this in 8 days? 8 days while y'all veterans you guys just rep your veterans so bad. We stand with our vets, 4th of July. Let's celebrate their sacrifice. But you don't care about the fact that Trump, he couldn't possibly make something like this to house some homeless veterans. No, of course not. The people that fought for your freedom. No. He's got to build this whole thing in 8 days to be able to torture people. Do you guys know that they took alligators? They're finding the largest alligators, the most poisonous snake, and putting it in this moat around this detention center. So that in the words of Trump, nature can be the security. And they're just gonna have to learn how to run from alligators. Ha ha ha. It's so funny how some of y'all are sitting here saying you're okay with this, buying the merch that they're making with alligators on the front, talking about some alligator Alcatraz. Y'all don't even realize you're wrapping the same thing, the same system, the same idea that was feeding little black babies to alligators, that were ripping the babies from their mother's arms and throwing them into the pond to be unalived. If you don't believe me, look at this advertisement. Okay? You're demonic. I promise you right now, I'm gonna say this again. If you think that this is okay, you think that this is biblical even, you're demonic, you're possessed. Nobody on God's green earth, I'm itching, y'all, I'm itching. No one can make me feel like this is okay. These are people. I can't even understand how so many of y'all are claiming to follow Jesus, and you're doing this. You think that I know they're paying these people what, over $3,000 a month? That's over $100,000 to be security guards in Alligator Alcatraz. But we can't get minimum wage to be moved, right? They're working on taking away government assistance like SNAP, EBT, Medicaid. But they're willing to pay the security guards for this concentration camp upwards of $100,000 a year. Do you guys see the joke? You're telling me that there can't be somewhere to detain people that are pedos, if you know what I mean? Pedos? We can't get this for school pew-pewers. We can't get this for P. Diddy? Like, are you joking me? But you can snatch away mothers and fathers and children and shove them in a concentration camp in the middle of the Everglades? Crazy thing is, I see so many people saying, well, this ain't my fight. It is your fight. Because you better believe, baby, it ain't gonna stop here. It's not gonna stop here. America's getting to a point where biblical prophecy is unfolding. That's all I'm gonna say. Y'all don't see all there is to be seen because you only see what's right in front of you. Like, yo, I'm so mad. I just make America great again. What a freaking joke.
Laura Loomer said that the 65 million Latinos in this country should be food for alligators. Never forget that Laura Loomer said that Alligator Alcatraz would create 65 million meals for alligators. Now, you might think it's a joke, but they fed our babies to alligators, and they thought it was so funny that they put it on candy boxes, they put it on tobacco boxes, they put it on coffee cans, they put it on soap boxes. But the reason why black and brown people can't fight to win a future where we are truly liberated is because we are programmed. There are 4 walls that block in the minds of black and brown people, and we've been at this a whole lot longer than y'all, so let me tell you what they are. We've been programmed to worship white folks, to objectify women, to fear going to hell, and to value money over all else.
Just unbelievably impressive what the state of Florida has done here. Over my shoulder is the actual facility.
I want to be clear that calling this Alligator Alcatraz is a misnomer. This is more of Alligator Auschwitz. There are no cameras in that facility. The facilities are below human rights violations. It started flooding yesterday. And they're already bringing people in. This is vile. This is what we're seeing now, that video especially. If they had cameras with video, they had phones with video, that's what German people or supporters of the Nazis would have been doing outside of Auschwitz or any of the other concentration camps. Look at this amazing facility. Oh my. Don't get it twisted. If you associate with people that are celebrating this, cut them off. If someone has they're literally selling merchandise for this concentration camp, that should put a target on these people's backs. You're calling for violence. The social contract went out the window. The social contract was ripped up and thrown into other people's faces. I'm gonna be very straightforward here. If you have Strappy Strap, please make sure you get Strappy Strap or learn how to Strappy Strap. Okay? Learn, because this we're so far beyond the bad place. Make sure you have a go bag ready. Make sure you know how to strappy strap. Please just do what you can to prep. Okay? Because when you have them actively wanting to arrest mayoral candidates simply because they're socialists, when you see them trying to strip the citizenship of the visas of black Haitians, they've made it clear that it's not about, criminals anymore. It's about anyone that stands up, anybody who's non-white. We're very much on. We're burnt. We're not cooked. We're burnt.
You're calling it Alligator Alcatraz. Are you kidding me? If you missed it, Trump is headed to a low-cost immigrant detention camp built by Ron DeSatan in the Florida Everglades. According to Triple K Caroline, quote, the only way out is via a one-way flight, and it's surrounded by dangerous wildlife. You cannot be f***ing serious. Listen, I know most maggots are 10-watt bulbs in 200-watt sockets, but let me see if I can make this crystal clear for you. A large concentration of folks deemed undesirable by the government put in a camp with no due process. If only there were some historical similarities there. Oh wait, they might as well write hard work will set you free above the entrance. And oh yeah, as for the whole low cost and efficiency thing, the expected spending on this is $450 million to intern 1,000 people. Not a great look for the party of fiscal responsibility. So when I tell you soulless, loathsome, maggot pieces of shit to get fucked, this is why. This is the side of history that you're supporting.
Majority of the time, I see people in the comments talking about how black people are so reactive, like we over-complain about everything. But then seeing this government bringing back the trauma, like they used to use black babies as bait for alligators for their amusement, but they are the same people that are putting laws in disguise to bring back, the pain and trauma to black people. Putting facilities to still put minority groups of people, to put black people in those places. I mean, they can't, chase you away from America right now. So what do they have to do? Put these facilities for them to have excuses on hurting black people. It's insane. And then when we come out and talk about these things, then we are the ones that are overreacting as black people. But this should really scream and tell the lack of humanity that these people really have, and how barbaric they've always been and still are, but always put that name of being barbaric to the people that they actually hurt. Because tell me, why are you spending $450 million on putting or building a facility in 80 days, eight days, to hurt people and to build or even help people that actually need help? And consider and call yourself as a free nation that everyone should really admire. But when it comes to the JEWS people, their history should stand, and they should always remember on how they were put in boxes and put on fire. I mean, we should say it as it is, because these people are so happy that they are seeing a facility that is going to hurt minority groups, but then they turn around and tell us to forget and, move on and, not blame them at all at anything. But when it comes to them, and how Germany did to the JEWS people, their history stands, and they should always remember it and talk about it and fight for that history and, be protected. When black people talk about slavery, it's like, no, it did not just happen to you people, it happened to everybody else. But when it comes to them, and how they talk about the WW2 and how they were hurt, yeah, it stands. It always stands, not when it comes to people of color, especially black people. Guys, I am just so pissed at this, because this is insane in 2025. And I mean, they are doing it openly. They do not even care about hiding their racism, hiding their hatred, hiding their barbarism. They do not care anymore. And we should really see it as it is. Not saying that all of them are, but I would say majority of them are really in support of what they are saying. And that's why they are not able to be, speaking up more about this. And that's why we've seen, protests of them, but nothing has changed. Nothing has changed, because it doesn't affect them. We are not going to see palmed colored people in those facilities. It's mostly going to be minority groups, black people. That's what it's going to be like. It's really, really annoying. Oh my God, I can't. Oh, wow. Guys, that is it for me in the video. Let me know what you think about this. I really can't.